Only been 36 hours ago that the snow stopped falling in what was the largest snowfall in Baltimore's history. Needless to say, the recovery is going to take time. I want to thank the crews that have been working around the clock, going above and beyond. Many of the crews, well, all of the crews are on 12-hour shifts. Some of our workers have not been home since Friday, and I just want people to understand how dedicated the city employees are, and I want to thank them. We have 5,000 lane miles of roads, including roughly 3,500 lane miles of smaller neighborhood streets. The snow removal operations are far more complicated than just pushing 3 or 4 inches off to the side. So many of our small streets and even our larger roads, the crews literally need to lift the snow up, put it into dump trucks, and then carry it out of the neighborhoods. Understanding the challenges of this historic blizzard, I've been bringing in additional resources from as far away as upstate New York, Ohio, and even Canada, so we would have the equipment necessary to deal with this storm. As early as this morning, we've already have supplemented our city workers and local private contractors with more than 500 pieces of specialized equipment to carry out the snow from the neighborhoods. This includes dump trucks, bobcats, loaders, and more. I think it's critical to remember that throughout this record blizzard, our police officers, firefighters, they've all been able to respond to every single emergency call, and that's a big deal. Fortunately, our city has not experienced a single storm-related death so far. Today, thanks to the teamwork of the many partners, our fire department and our health department is coordinating with the National Guard and MTA Mobility to ensure that the more than 300 city residents in need of dialysis will be able to receive their treatments today. Again, that is another big deal for people who are in need of dialysis. They can't wait till tomorrow. Many of them are in critical need of those services today. So I just really want to thank all of the partners who worked with us to make sure that we're able to transport those patients today. This is the type of teamwork and coordination that reflects lessons learned from 2010. I want to thank all the businesses who followed my lead this morning and also closed. Keeping our roads clear of unnecessary traffic is a big help to our crews as they clear our roads. Roadways remain under Phase 2 of our city's snow emergency plan. Motorists are urged to remain off the roads and as crews continue to work to clear snow from our streets. Please remember, we are responding, we are recovering from an historic snow event. That means that this requires patience and cooperation, neighborly behavior. Now is the time to get out and to work on clearing your sidewalks. Please help us while you're out there, if you could clean around fire hydrants and storm drains. We've also asked the public to while 311 is open around the clock, we also ask that you engage the 311 app. That is helping us to track some of the calls for service. Working together, I believe that we can all get through this. I know because I've seen it. I've seen us come together in tough times, and I know that we have it within us to get through this snowstorm. I want to thank again all of the hospital workers and those workers who are helping our most vulnerable residents. I also want to give a special shout out to all of our neighbors, as well as the police officers that are helping us to transport the homeless individuals to our shelters. I had a chance to stop by one of the shelters yesterday, and they were so grateful to have that support. So I just want to thank everyone for going above and beyond. And with that, I will turn it over to our Director of the Office of Emergency Management, Bob Maloney.
Good morning. So, adding to what the mayor said about the large amount of snowfall in such a short period of time, 36 hours since the snow and 33 hours since the wind stopped, I've never seen us get control of reducing the gridlock of the entire city so quick as a result of the efforts. And I feel very good today that if you want to get out, maybe not with your car, but you can get to an intersection, a cab. MTA stepped up and got the buses going earlier. Again, the taxi services. So As far as the overall movement of the city goes, that's very good, and that's strong for emergency services. These guys have been able to get to everything they have. On some of the streets that are more challenging, transportation's delivering, and they're methodically going one by one, and that's really helping with the dialysis and the transport, so that's very good. The other thing I would say is the grocery stores did a great job in transportation coordinated, getting their routes cleared, and they got emptied out very quickly, and they're all open and starting to replenish, so that was very huge as far as the continuity of operations goes. The third thing is as far as the emergency workers go, there's been no injuries, and that's been very good. Everybody's been very safe, and the community's really helped out. We got stories about people giving officers coffee and sandwiches and going up to the truck drivers, and I think that's really helped because everybody's getting very fatigued, but we've recommitted our efforts, and today's going to be a huge day, and I think we will all as a community be happy with the progress.
Thank you. Director Johnson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to follow up on some of the mayor's comments, I would like to thank all of the men and women who are working with DOT, DPW, DGS, and all the coordinating agencies. We've been at it hard and heavy, round the clock since last Friday, and there's no quit and no let up in this team. We are making good progress. At this point, we're focusing our efforts on our secondary and neighborhood streets. There is some work still remaining to be done on the primaries. We've been focusing on getting all of the bus stops plowed out, the turn lanes plowed out, so that we can get back to regular operations in coordination with MTA. We're working right now to clear some of the light rail tracks on Howard Street, so that service hopefully can get restarted by this afternoon. We have relocated about 347 vehicles to date. So I would like to remind motorists not to park on the designated snow routes, not to park right in the middle of the street after we've plowed the street, because that also blocks access for your neighbors, and it blocks access for emergency vehicles, and we will have to tow those vehicles out of the way. We received a special request today, and we're focusing on making sure that the fuel terminals have access for trucks to come in and get fuel and continue to supply our neighborhood and local gas stations throughout the city. We have about 60 inspectors who are out on the street. We've assigned special work crews with heavy equipment to those inspectors, so as they locate streets in our communities that need special attention, i.e. these are small streets with 2 feet of snow or 1.5 feet of snow that's starting to ice over on those streets, we can call in bobcats and start to lift that snow out, pull it out, and open up the street, come back and salt as kind of a first step to getting people access from their homes through their neighborhood streets to the main arteries. As the mayor said, this is a major operation. We have over 1,200 people, 1,200 pieces of equipment, I should say, working around the clock at this point in our city to get the city open and back to normal. And again, I can't say enough about all of the crews that have been involved in working with us in the interest of our neighborhood. I myself went out and got stuck yesterday in one of our neighborhoods, and I'd like to thank those residents that helped me get my vehicle unstuck. So this is not something that we're sitting back and taking lightly. We're experiencing it firsthand as we attempt to provide the services to you, to our citizens and our residents. It's our highest priority, and we're working at it. So with that, we'd like to thank you for your patience, assure you that we won't let up and we won't stop until we get the all clear on all of our streets and roadways. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning. Overnight, the Baltimore Police Department responded to 201 calls for service. That's very low for us. We handled a grand total of 3 vehicle crashes, and I can't thank the community enough for heeding our collective advice to stay off of our roadways while these crews do their important work. 3 crashes overnight in weather like this with streets that are still in these conditions is purely just a sign of people working together and finding other ways to get around. So can't thank the community enough for that. Today, as these piles of snow exist throughout the city, it greatly reduces visibility, so we encourage folks to be really, really mindful when you round that corner with those really high piles of snow. The police officers, the hardworking men and women in uniform and marked patrol cars of the Baltimore Police Department continue to work very hard. We've had several notable arrests that I've spoken about over these last 3 days. We've made a total of 8 gun arrests over the last 3 days. Those don't happen by accident. Our cops are out here working very, very hard, and we just look forward to continuing to assist other city agencies as we get through this weather emergency together. And now I'll turn it over to Fire Chief Niles Ford.
Morning, Mayor. Thank you, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the people out there who are really making it happen for us. Our 911 call takers who have been consistent and doing an outstanding job. Our dispatchers, our Baltimore City Fire Department personnel, they're actually out there hitting the road and really taking care of this community. We are very fortunate that we have such a great group of individuals who take pride in protecting people. We have experienced a higher than normal call volume over the last night and over this morning. Around 234 calls since last night, most of which are EMS related calls. We're experiencing a lot of calls dealing with things like chest pains, issues with people maintaining medication and several other things. So we want to make sure that a couple things. We want to make sure that people who really need assistance use 911. But if you do not have an emergency, do not call 911 because what you end up doing is taking even just our call takers' attention away from things that could be very, very important and for urgent needs. So I wanted to remind everybody of that. Right now we are experiencing a higher than normal call volume, which is what we expected now since people are getting out and starting to shovel snow and starting to play and starting to hurt themselves. So we just want people to take care of each other. And now I'd like to turn it over to Director Chow.
Good morning. DPW continue to work very closely with DOT on the snow removal. But aside from the snow removal activities, for tomorrow, I'd like to announce that we'll continue to suspend trash and recycling pickup for tomorrow. Makeup day is going to be on Saturday. The Citizens Drop-Off Center and the landfill will remain closed, and street sweeping will be suspended. And we'll continue to assess the condition, and we'll make further announcement later on. It is important, I want to stress, it's very important that for folks to clear the snow around the fire hydrant in front of your house, just in case the fire department needs to get to them. And also, as the temperature rises above freezing, there's going to be melting taking place during the daytime hours. Make sure that you clear the snow around the storm drain so the water can be taken away, rather than the overnight will refreeze and cause further problems. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Greg Thornton, CEO of City Schools. I'm really pleased to be here today to certainly extend my gratitude, certainly to the mayor and the entire city for our efforts in collectively moving our city to a good place to bring our thousands of children back. I'm here today also to make a big plea. It's very important to me, the safety and well-being of children as well as everyone in the city, is that we need to get our sidewalks cleaned. Our youngsters actually are moving through the streets now. I'm riding through the streets and I see our youngsters there. I need youngsters on sidewalks so we can certainly open up so our youngsters can return. They're ready to return. I know their parents are ready to return. They're calling us. But at the very end of the day, it's very important that we work together to really create great outcomes for us. So I now turn it back to the mayor and thank the entire city for their effort and the coordination I would say that we're doing with the Department of Transportation and prioritizing, because I think the city's ready for the children to come back, is certainly very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll open up to questions.
Mayor, what is your message, and maybe it's too early today, you might have it later in the day, but is your message to employers, take it easy on your employees, you know, about reopening and asking people to come to work?
I want people to use common sense, and I want people to also use good judgment based on the conditions in communities. We've been working very hard to get into the neighborhoods. We're not everywhere yet. And as I said yesterday, I've seen people using exhibiting unsafe behaviors, walking out in the street, and it's really not worth your life, right? So if you have an employee that can't get in because they can't navigate the streets, I'm asking that people are understanding. Or work with their employees to get them in. I know several employers have contacted us. They're sending taxis and other driving services to pick up their employees, because we've gotten so many of the primary and secondary roads that if people can get out to them, they can get picked up. That's helpful. But I just would ask that people, again, use good judgment and think about safety first.
What is the city's strategy in these, you know, we all know the historic problem of, like, all the major roads are in really good shape, but the streets that people live on aren't. And the biggest challenge, I think, just looking around, is that you've got cars that are like big marshmallow mounds that have to get dug out. And not everybody can do that kind of digging, am I right?
Well, not everyone should do that type of digging, and I would encourage people to think about alternative means of transportation and really think about, do you have to go? What we don't want is to waste taxpayers' money by having people throw the snow from their cars out on the street again. Director Johnson was talking about the fact that we're going to have freezing overnight. If you do that during the daytime and you have melting and then it freezes, we're just back in the same situation, and it is a waste of very precious taxpayers' resources. I ask you to be creative about you know, where to put it, but just don't put it back out in the street, because it prevents us from being able to get back up and running. And again, I would encourage people to think about other forms of transportation. The snow is not going to be around forever, so if you don't have to dig your car out, you know, think about leaving it until the snow melts. Take you know, a taxi, a Uber, a Lyft, whatever. But you know, just think about safety, and please don't throw the snow back out in the street.
Madam Mayor, any timeline on when those additional pieces of equipment will be coming to the city?
Yeah, we have, yesterday, some of you were out at Pimlico with me to see the equipment coming in. We have been working very aggressively to get that equipment in, even in rough conditions. We got over 90% of the anticipated equipment in by midnight, and we have the management team that is there helping us to deploy those resources is doing an excellent job getting people checked in, signed in, so we can have fiscal accountability, and then they're out. That has helped us make the progress that we have. We're prioritizing the neighborhood streets around our schools, because I want to do everything I can to be a good partner with the school system. I've got a 7th grader who needs to be in school. I know today was a professional day, so we got to pass, but tomorrow we're going to work to make sure that as soon as possible our kids are back in school. So that's our priority in the neighborhood streets around schools. Yes.
Go ahead.
Director Johnson, I was wondering if you might be able to tell us how many roads and side streets there are in the city, and then what percentage of them have been cleared at this point. And then I know that you said you have been talking about the number of contractors and outside help you all have been bringing in, and I was wondering how are you deploying those resources to know who's going where and in what order, and how you're verifying which streets have been cleared, with those 660 inspectors, or how they're going about it.
Okay, that was a list of questions.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. The first question had to do with how many neighborhood streets. We have about 3,600 lane miles of neighborhood streets in our city. We are constantly inspecting areas. We have a number of inspectors who are on the streets, about 50 to 60 per shift, and their whole role is to drive around, check out our neighborhood streets, monitor the contractor work and our city employees' work in clearing streets, and call back in and let us know where trouble spots are or neighborhoods where we're going to need special equipment or we have special needs in order to get in and clear those streets. I can't give you an exact percent of how many have been cleared at this point. I know as of yesterday we were estimating 35 or 40%. We've continued to work, but what we're finding is that sometimes we may send equipment there and find that we need a different piece of equipment because now the snow is not plowable. Now it's got to be lifted out, and we're finding that more and more and more. So part of our strategy is to make those contractor resources available to go and take care of those troubled areas that our inspectors are calling back into us. The other priority, as the mayor said, is to address routes in and around our schools so that we can assist the school district in getting to a point where it's safe enough for kids to be able to get to school, parents to be able to get to school, teachers to be able to get to and from our schools. So that's a priority. The trouble spots that are identified by our inspectors are also a priority, and the area that I got stuck in last night is also going to be a priority today.
Director Johnson, you
Yes.
mentioned that they had a lot of abandoned cars you guys relocated. Where can citizens find out where their car is located?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question because we get a lot of calls about that. Citizens whose cars have been relocated should call 311. When we relocate a vehicle, we take down the license plate, a description of that vehicle, the location that it was picked up from, and the location that it was towed to, that it was relocated to. And when those citizens call in, the operator should be able to ask a series of questions, help them identify their vehicle, and tell them where they can go and pick it up.
One more. Is there any estimate at what point the phase 2 might be lifted?
Well, if I had my druthers, it wouldn't be until we got most of this heavy equipment through our neighborhoods and off the streets. I know that's not realistic. We're hopeful to make an assessment each evening as we get to the end of the day in terms of where we are and whether or not it makes sense, and then we'll have a conversation with the mayor in terms of making a determination at that point. So sometime tonight I'll be submitting a report and recommendation to the mayor based on where we are. It may not be today, it may be the next day, but it's a high priority to get back to closer to a sense of normalcy.
Director, I got special dispensations in the policy here that I can
Right.
ask one more question. We are getting complaints from viewers, and this is a usual complaint. They dig their car out, and then the plow comes through, and in cases come back in. What is the remedy for that? What's the best way to deal with that?
Well, if we had no parked cars on the street, we'd be able to plow from curb to curb. That's just, in most cases, especially in neighborhoods, that's not a reality. So unfortunately, it's an inconvenience. The plows are going to come through. They leave a kind of a row, if you will, but where we send backhoes in or we send bobcats in, our strategy is going to be to try to push as much of that snow to the end of a street without blocking a storm drain, and then have heavy equipment come through, lift the snow, haul it away to a location where it can then be melted or allowed to melt on site. So we just ask for patience. We have a limited amount of equipment capable of doing that, as opposed to having enough to do every single street, within the next 24 hours. That's just not realistic, but wherever we can, we'll push it to the end of the street, and we'll try to haul it away and get it out of our neighborhoods.
Thank you.